You ever notice how one old clip can flip the entire internet upside down overnight? Well, buckle up, because Young Thug's past comments just resurfaced at the exact same time King Von discussions are heating up again, and fans are shocked at how everything seems to connect. What was once brushed off as a random interview moment is now being dissected frame by frame. And when you hear what Thug allegedly said back then about loyalty, street codes, and choosing sides, it hits completely different today. Emotions are running high. The timelines are divided. And some people are even asking if the signs were always there but nobody wanted to see them. The craziest part? At the time, nobody labeled it as shade. Nobody called it controversial. But now, with old debates about King Von resurfacing and conversations getting intense again, Thug's words are being replayed like a hidden message buried in plain sight. Was it advice? Was it a warning? Or was it subtle pressure from behind the scenes? One thing's for sure, this isn't just another resurfaced clip. This one has the culture talking, the blogs scrambling, and the family left divided. Let's get into it. Now let's slow this all the way down, because context is everything, and the timing of this resurfaced clip is what his fans truly shook. The original Young Thug interview took place years ago, during a period when the industry felt tense but not explosive. Back then, Thug was in his element, confident, unpredictable, speaking in layered metaphors the way only he can. The interviewer asked him about loyalty in the rap game, about alliances, about how artists choose who they stand beside when the pressure rises. At the time, it felt like typical industry talk. Nothing out of the ordinary. But today, with King Von discussions heating up again across social media, those same words feel like coded messages. In the resurfaced footage, Thug leans forward, iced-out chains catching the light, voice calm but deliberate. Everybody wanna say they neutral, he says. But when it get real, you gotta pick where you stand. Ain't no in-between when the smoke clear. The room went quiet for a split second after he said that. Back then, nobody clipped it for drama. It was just another quotable moment. But now, fans are dissecting every syllable like it's a hidden prophecy. And here's why emotions are running high. Over the past few weeks, debates about King Von's legacy, his relationships in the industry, and the politics surrounding that era have resurfaced in full force. Old rivalries are being rehashed. Old alliances are being questioned. And in the middle of all that noise, someone dug up this Young Thug clip and dropped it back into the algorithm at the worst, or most strategic time possible. Within hours, blogs were posting headlines like, "Did Young Thug subtly address King Von years ago?" And fans react to Thug's pick-a-side comments as Von conversations explode again. The timeline instantly divided. Some fans argued that Thug was speaking generally about street loyalty. Others insisted the timing was too specific to ignore. One Twitter user wrote, "Go back and watch who he was hanging around during that interview. The energy was different." Another responded, "Y'all reaching. Thug talks in codes all the time." But that's the thing about coded language, it invites interpretation. And once interpretation begins, the drama writes itself. To really understand why fans are shocked, you have to remember the climate back then. The industry was layered with silent tensions. Collaborations were political. Appearances mattered. Even being seen in the wrong studio session could spark rumors. King Von was emerging as a dominant voice with undeniable momentum. Young Thug, already a veteran, had navigated waves of industry politics. When he spoke about choosing sides, people now believe he may have been referencing the unspoken pressure artists felt behind the scenes. In the clip, the interviewer presses slightly. "So you saying neutrality don't exist?" Thug laughs softly. "Neutral just mean you ain't loud about your side. But everybody got one." That line right there is what has fans replaying the clip over and over again. Because in today's context, it feels pointed. What makes it even more dramatic is that shortly after that interview originally aired, there were rumors of potential collaborations between different camps that never materialized. Nothing confirmed. Nothing official. Just whispers. Now fans are connecting dots that may or may not exist. They're asking whether Thug's comments were frustration disguised as philosophy. Meanwhile, Supporters of both artists are defending their legacies fiercely. "Thug never disrespected Vaughn," one fan page posted. "Stop trying to rewrite history." But another account countered, "You gotta listen between the lines. He was talking about the pressure to align." And then came the unexpected twist. A producer who claimed to have been present during that era went live and added fuel to the fire. He didn't mention names directly, but he said, "It was a lot of behind-the-scenes phone calls. A lot of who you with conversations. The public didn't see half of it." That vague statement sent shockwaves through the fanbase. Emotions ran high during late-night live-stream debates. Comment sections turned into battlegrounds. Some fans accused blogs of exploiting old footage for clicks. Others insisted revisiting history is part of understanding the culture. "We study interviews like game tape," one commenter wrote. "Nothing is random." But here's where the story gets layered. In another portion of the same interview, one that hadn't circulated widely until now, Thug adds, "I don't move off emotion. I move off loyalty. And loyalty cost." That phrase, loyalty cost, is now trending in discussions about the resurfaced clip. People are asking what that cost looked like. Was it lost collaborations? Strained friendships? Silent distances between artists who once shared mutual respect? The family was left divided online. Some fans felt that digging up old statements disrespects the growth artists have shown since then. Others argued that patterns matter. "If the shoe fits," one viral tweet read, "maybe it was always there." What's undeniable is the emotional weight of hindsight. Words that once sounded abstract now feel specific. A laugh that once felt casual now feels tense. A general statement about loyalty now feels like a chess move in a larger game nobody fully understood at the time. And just when it seemed like the debate couldn't intensify any further, an even older radio interview snippet surfaced. One where Young Thug makes a comment about new energy trying to shake old foundations. That phrase alone sent fans into another spiral, setting the stage for an even deeper dive into what was really happening behind closed doors. That was the exact phrase, and when that older radio snippet resurfaced, it hit the timeline like a thunderclap. The clip was grainy, the audio slightly distorted, but the words were clear enough to spark a whole new wave of speculation. In the interview, Young Thug was discussing how the rap game evolves in cycles. "Every few years," he said, "new energy come in loud. They hungry. They fearless. But they don't always understand the foundation. And sometimes that shake things up." Back then, it sounded like generational commentary. OG versus new wave. Nothing personal. Nothing explosive. But now, with King Von discussions heating up again and fans re-examining every alliance from that era, those words feel charged. Social media detectives wasted no time stitching the clips together. First, the "pick where you stand" comment. Then, loyalty cost. Now, new energy trying to shake old foundations. When played back-to-back with dramatic background music, it suddenly felt like a narrative. Fans are shocked at how seamlessly it all lines up. One viral TikTok creator said, "Y'all don't see the pattern?" He was talking about the shift in power. The video racked up millions of views overnight. In the comments, emotions ran high. He felt threatened. No, he felt protective. Stop twisting it. This was deeper than we knew. And just when the debate couldn't get louder, an alleged former industry insider dropped a cryptic post that read, "There was a meeting that changed everything." No context. No names. Just that sentence. But that was enough. Within hours, blogs were running speculative headlines about a rumored private conversation between multiple artists during that tense period. No proof surfaced, but that didn't stop the theories. According to online chatter, the meeting supposedly revolved around collaborations, appearances, and who would align publicly with whom as tensions in the broader rap landscape intensified. Again, nothing confirmed. But perception? That was running wild. Meanwhile, old performance footage began circulating. In one clip, Young Thug is backstage at a festival, speaking animatedly with members of his team. The audio is unclear, but fans swear they can read his lips. "We're not playing both sides," some claim he said. Others argue that's pure imagination. Still, the clip fueled another round of debate. Supporters of Thug pushed back hard. "He's always preached loyalty," one fan account posted. "That don't mean he was dissing anybody." But critics insisted the timing of these resurfaced clips was too coincidental. And here's where the emotional conflict deepens. Several artists who had mutual ties to both camps during that era began receiving questions in interviews again. One rapper, when asked directly about the resurfaced comments, responded carefully. "Man, that was years ago. Everybody was navigating their own situations. Ain't nobody perfect." His neutral tone only added to the mystery. Behind the scenes, at least according to whispers circulating online, there were moments where collaborations were discussed but never executed. Studio sessions that were penciled in and quietly cancelled. Features that were rumored and then replaced. Fans are now asking, were those business decisions? Or were they the cost of loyalty Thug referenced? The phrase loyalty cost has taken on a life of its own. On Twitter Spaces, one fan passionately argued, he was saying you can't be cool with everybody when real issues happening. Another fired back, but that don't mean he was targeting Vaughn specifically. Y'all making it personal. The family was left divided in every comment section. Some believe this resurfacing is an attempt to rewrite history. Others believe it's about finally connecting dots that were ignored at the time. And then came another twist no one expected. A respected Atlanta DJ went live and shared his perspective. "I was around both sides," he said. "What people don't understand is that pressure was crazy. Labels, managers, street politics, everybody was watching who stood where. It wasn't always about personal dislike. It was about perception." That statement shifted the tone slightly. Instead of focusing purely on alleged tension, some fans began discussing the systemic pressure artists face. The unspoken rule that neutrality can be seen as betrayal. The reality that sometimes, staying silent is louder than speaking. But the drama didn't stop there. An old tweet from Young Thug resurfaced from around the same time frame as those interviews. It read, "If you real, you know where you stand. No confusion." At the time, it barely made waves. Now, it's being screenshot and reposted with captions like, "He was drawing lines." Emotions ran high as fans debated whether these were simply motivational statements or subtle confirmations of deeper divides. Then, in a dramatic turn, a family member of King Von posted a message urging fans not to create narratives that weren't there. The post was calm but firm. "Stop trying to pit people against each other for entertainment," it read. That statement resonated with many supporters who felt the discourse was becoming disrespectful. But others weren't convinced. "If there was nothing, why does it feel so heavy?" one commenter asked. That's the power of hindsight. When you revisit old interviews after major events and heated discussions, everything feels amplified. A metaphor sounds like a warning. A laugh sounds forced. A vague statement feels targeted. And here's the emotional core of this entire situation. Both Young Thug and King Von represented powerful, authentic voices from their respective lanes. Both navigated complex environments where loyalty wasn't just a word, it was survival. When Thug spoke about choosing sides and loyalty costing something, he may have been speaking generally about that reality. But in today's climate, fans are layering specific meaning onto it. Late-night debate panels on YouTube continue to dissect the clips. "You can't ignore the timing," one host argues. The Vaughn conversations reignited, and suddenly this pops back up. Another responds, "The algorithm doesn't care about timing. It cares about engagement." And maybe that's the real twist. In a world where old content never disappears, where every word is archived and searchable, artists' past statements can resurface at the most volatile moments. Not because they were meant to hurt, but because context changed. Still, as the conversations grow louder, one final clip begins circulating, one that shows Young Thug at a private event, speaking candidly about respect, legacy, and never letting the internet define your relationships. And that clip? That's about to complicate everything even further. That was the line. Clear as day. In the newly circulating clip from that private event, Young Thug is standing on a small stage. No flashy backdrop, no scripted interview, just a mic in his hand and a room full of industry faces. "One thing I learned," he says, pacing slowly, "you can't let the internet tell you who your people are. Half the time, they don't know the conversations that happened off camera." The room nods. A few quiet facts echo from the crowd. Now here's where everything gets complicated. Because that clip directly clashes with the narrative social media has been building. If Thug was speaking about not letting the internet define relationships, then what does that say about the resurfaced comments? Were fans projecting tension onto words that were never meant to be personal? Or was this clip damage control before damage even existed? Fans are shocked at how layered this situation has become. On one side, you have people saying, "This proves it. He wasn't dissing anybody. He was talking about perception." On the other side, critics argue, why even say that unless something was being misinterpreted back then? Emotions ran high during a heated Twitter space where two popular bloggers went back and forth for nearly an hour. "You can't deny the pattern," one insisted. "Pick a side. Loyalty cost. New energy shaking foundations. That's not random." The other shot back, "Or maybe that's just how he talks. You'll want drama." But here's the twist nobody saw coming. A longtime mutual associate of both circles finally addressed the speculation in a podcast appearance. He didn't choose sides. He didn't accuse. Instead, he said something that left the internet stunned. "Everybody respected each other more than y'all think," he explained. "But respect don't mean there wasn't pressure. It was a time when every move got watched. If you stood next to somebody, it meant something. If you didn't, that meant something too." That statement shifted the tone completely. Suddenly, the conversation wasn't about secret beef. It was about the impossible tightrope artists walk when politics, perception, and pride collide. The idea that neutrality itself can be controversial. That silence can be misread. That loyalty can feel expensive even when no one is publicly at odds. The family was left divided across platforms. Some fans felt relief. "So it wasn't smoke," one comment read. Others weren't satisfied. "Pressure creates tension," another replied. And tension always leaves a mark. Meanwhile, clips of King Von speaking about authenticity and staying true to oneself began trending again. In one interview, he says, "I ain't switching up for nobody." That line, paired with Thug's loyalty cost quote, created a powerful juxtaposition. Two strong perspectives. Two powerful voices. Both navigating a world where alliances are scrutinized. And that's when another layer emerged. Industry insiders began discussing how media cycles can unintentionally create narratives that artists themselves never confirmed. A veteran journalist tweeted, "Resurfacing clips without context is the fastest way to rewrite history." That tweet sparked another wave of debate. Was this a case of context collapse? Or were fans simply connecting dots that had always been there? What makes this story so gripping is that there's no dramatic confrontation to point to. No diss track. No leaked phone call. Just layered comments, resurfaced at a volatile time. The power isn't in what was said, it's in when it's being heard. And let's be real, timing in the algorithm era is everything. The resurgence of King Von discussions reignited emotions. Old alliances were re-examined. Old rivalries were debated again. So when Young Thug's past comments popped back up in the middle of that storm, they felt heavier than they ever did before. But here's the emotional core. Maybe both things can be true. Maybe Thug was speaking broadly about loyalty in a complicated industry. And maybe fans, fueled by passion and hindsight, are layering meaning onto those words because they're still processing everything that happened during that era. Maybe there was pressure, but not personal animosity. Maybe there were lines, but not enemies. As the days pass, the noise has started to quiet slightly, but the questions remain. Was the resurfacing of those clips organic? Or intentional? Were those comments philosophical? Or quietly strategic? And most importantly, does revisiting the past help us understand the culture better? Or does it risk creating narratives that never truly existed? One thing is certain, this entire situation proves how powerful archived words can be. In today's digital world, nothing disappears. Every interview, every tweet, every laugh and pause can resurface at any moment, especially when conversations heat up again. Fans are still debating. Reaction channels are still analyzing. And even though no direct conflict has been confirmed, the emotional impact of this resurfacing moment has been undeniable. So now we turn it over to you. What do you think really happened here? Were Young Thug's past comments simply wisdom about loyalty in a high-pressure industry? Or do you believe there was more beneath the surface that fans are only now beginning to piece together? Drop your honest opinion in the comments below. Don't just scroll past, because your perspective is part of this conversation. Do you think the internet sometimes creates tension where there isn't any? Or do you believe resurfaced clips reveal truths that were overlooked at the time? If you found this breakdown layered, intense, and thought-provoking, make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next deep dive into moments the culture can't stop talking about. And turn on your notifications, because in this era, one old clip can resurface tomorrow and flip the entire narrative all over again. Stay locked in. The story never really ends, it just evolves.